The Democratic convention is over and Joe Biden's the nominee. In just 6 months, Biden went from polling behind Michael Bloomberg and Bernie Sanders in his own primary to being the 8-point favorite against the incumbent president. Now, there's plenty of different theories about how this happened, but I think Andrew Yang summed it up perfectly during the convention. The answer to Biden's success is simple. He's a magician. Biden was the frontrunner up until February, but it's important to remember just how much the tides had changed when Iowa came around. Bernie was surging, and he was even leading in some national polls. Really, the question on everyone's mind was, who is everybody going to coalesce around now that Biden has cratered? That question was answered during one of the craziest weeks in modern electoral history. On the morning of the South Carolina primary, Biden was polling alongside Bloomberg, Buttigieg, Klobuchar, and Warren, 12 points behind Sanders. But then he won the South Carolina primary, and he won it convincingly. In the next couple of days, both Buttigieg and Klobuchar dropped out and publicly endorsed him. And then came Super Tuesday, where he won 10 out of 14 states. And a couple of days after that, both Bloomberg and Warren had dropped out as well. Leading up to this, Biden's numbers were floundering. His campaign had basically no cash. It wasn't even running any ads. But over the course of a week, he vanquished 4 competitors, and he took a commanding 130 delegate lead over Sanders. He never looked back. The primary was his. But I don't want to talk about what he did as much as I want to talk about how he did it. Again, like I said in the intro, Andrew Yang said it perfectly at the Democratic National Convention.
The magic of Joe Biden is that everything he does becomes the new reasonable. If he comes with an ambitious plan to address climate change, all of a sudden, everyone's going to follow his lead.
Yang is spot on here. The Biden campaign is showing a really interesting ability to bring progressive ideas into his agenda and make them seem mainstream almost immediately. Since he became the presumptive nominee, he's been bringing in more policy proposals from popular members of his party to his left, all the while winning more votes from voters to his right. It's like alchemy or something. Usually during a primary, the candidate will run closer to its ideological base and then moderate after they become the nominee. Biden's doing this in reverse. It's super weird. I do not remember the last time I saw it. In the primaries, he was constantly being attacked by the left for having a boring and unambitious agenda, and they often claimed that he was doing that specifically to placate the center and the right. But it worked. And now he's entering this race against Trump with the most progressive agenda that I've ever seen from a major party candidate in my lifetime. Sure, he still prefers a public option over Sanders' version of single-payer healthcare, but the rest of his agenda includes $15 federal minimum wage, significant expansions of government spending on public assistance programs, carbon-free energy by 2035, and an expansion of legal immigration. It's worth noting that Donald Trump is trying to use this to his advantage. Most of his ad spend has been trying to convince Americans that Biden is some Trojan horse for the radical extreme left that Trump has been trying to demonize for the last few years. Mind you, most of the proposals that they have would be center left, if not moderate, in most of the Western world, so I question its effectiveness. That being said, America is a center-right country, and we are chronically afraid of government spending. Either way, the results have been mixed. Polling shows that voters do think that Biden is slightly less moderate than they thought during the primary, but Biden still continues to outperform Clinton in key demographics from 2016. Like I said earlier, he's beating Trump by 8 points in the national polls. He's doing very well in swing states, so it's hard to see the effectiveness in Trump's strategy here. So while Trump continues to try to paint the left as extreme and radical, it's looking like he's having a really hard time grafting that onto Biden himself. Biden's curated a career of being the down-the-middle politician, so now he has the credibility to make nods to the left without scaring the center and the right. It's looking like it's just going to be really hard to convince many Americans that Joe Biden, of all people, will be the one to turn America into a socialist hellhole. They trust him too much for that, especially after 3 years of chaos that's culminating in a pandemic that's killed 175,000 of us. Will Biden be able to carry this into the election? Only time will tell. But In an America that's this polarized, his ability to bring together the left and the center and a little bit of the right, it's looking like magic. Thanks for stopping by for another week. I'd love to hear what you thought of the convention. I liked it a lot. I thought it was a huge improvement over what we've gotten in the past. I thought the roll call was great. None of us can travel, so it was really cool to feel like we all got to go on this road trip to all 50 states. I also loved hearing all the stories of everyday Americans, getting to hear what this whole experience has been like for people that we can relate to. I thought that was awesome. I also liked the speeches, but I really liked how this convention was focused on us. I think that's a really good message to bring into this election, that we're taking the White House back to the people. It's no longer all about the president, it's about solving problems. I think that needs to be the message going forward. Like and subscribe if you don't mind, share it. It would be a huge help. Have a great week. We'll see you next Sunday.